Now, this is a little different than most transmissions. First stop drive doesn't work, but third does. Neutral is park, reverse is second. If you want to use reverse, put it in drive. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
And the accelerator sticks too, so be careful. But don't be afraid of it. You got to give it to her or it's going to stall.
You can do this, Ricky.
I hope so, Trevor. Now take it for a little test drive and get used to it.
The Trevor Letowski experiment in Montreal is over. This kind of came out of nowhere. I don't even really know what to think of it. I was in Costco at the time. I fell to my knees. Just kidding. But I did have weird, mixed emotions about the news. And it's not immediately about Derek Lalonde and him joining the Montreal Canadiens and what that means exactly. It's more that this feels like a weird time for this to happen. And Letowski said it was because he wants to spend more time with his family. Who wants to spend more time with their family? Joking, obviously. That's why it makes sense. Family is extremely important, but I still have to unpack this. So let's talk about it.
B-Day, Ronaldo Day, Ronaldo Day. Oh!
The Canadiens are on the upswing. They've gone from rebuilding to looking like a legitimate playoff team. Young players are developing exactly how you'd hope they would develop, and Letowski has been there every step of the way, even longer than Martin St. Louis has, or Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon. So, of course, my first thought was, Letowski's leaving? Why? Why now? So when I read further that he was leaving because he wanted to spend more time with his family, it all made sense. Hockey demands a lot from everyone involved. As a coach, yeah, your time is valuable. Family should always come first, and if Letowski wasn't able to prioritize his family in the way that he wanted to, all the respect to him for doing this. But from the Canadiens' perspective, this has to feel like a big loss. Letowski's been Martin St. Louis' right-hand man. He has a great relationship with the players, and they've found success with Letowski behind the bench. He played 9 years in the NHL. He brings in a player's perspective. Over 600 games, played in the playoffs, played in the KHL. So I do worry that the players will miss Trevor Letowski, the personality, the person who he was. But as I got to thinking about this further, I had thoughts on why I think this is a good thing. First, I just want to say thank you for all of your continued support. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of this community. We're on our way to 27,000 subscribers. Can you help me get there? Everyone else, hit the like button, comment below, tell me what your favorite type of movie genre is. So I didn't immediately come upon the thought that this was a good thing after all. I'll be honest, when I heard Derek Lalonde was the replacement, my initial reaction wasn't excitement, it was more uncertainty. I just think of his last season in Detroit, and I'd like to think that that's probably where a lot of fans' minds went. I don't know if I have my fingers on the pulse, but that was the first thing I thought of. It really felt like that season, it was primed for the Red Wings to make it to the playoffs, but so did last season. And it's that exact thought that I think unlocked my current sentiments about Lalonde coming to the Canadiens. First of all, Lalonde has been coaching for nearly 30 years, and he had to climb the ladder. College hockey, USHL, ECHL, the AHL, you name it. Everywhere he went before the NHL, he built his reputation as a winner. Then, in his NHL experience, and probably what would be the bright spot on his resume, right at the top, circled with a red marker, his tenure in Tampa Bay, coaching with John Cooper. He was one of the assistants there, and during that stretch, Tampa won back-to-back Stanley Cups. You might remember one of those wins. He was also there when Tampa lost in the finals to Colorado. So, needless to say, he knows a little bit about winning, and he knows a little bit about winning in the most important games. That is really important experience, especially where the Montreal Canadiens are at right now. An experience that is not currently behind the bench in terms of coaching experience. He knows what a championship caliber organization looks behind the scenes. There's part of me that thinks that Lalonde could come in here and play a very unique role. He can offer that type of experience. He can be a sounding board for Martin St. Louis and Robidas, Marciano. And to the players, he could play as kind of the grizzled coach. Maybe it's a good cop, bad cop situation between Martin St. Louis and Lalonde. Come to think of it, Lalonde kind of looks like a villain. A good villain, though, like a villain with a heart of gold. I'm just building scenarios in my head, but can you imagine Lalonde delivering the difficult message and St. Louis just trying to hype his guys up? I think that's a cute idea, although probably not that realistic. Either way, I think that Lalonde's experience and what he brings to the table is something they don't have in Montreal, and that is getting me very interested about what could happen. Obviously, the years in Detroit were the biggest question mark. His record wasn't terrible, but he also wasn't able to get the Red Wings into the playoffs. At the same time, Detroit was still kind of trying to rebuild and bring players in. Expectations were high and the roster was flawed. They didn't have any depth. Yzerman couldn't get top players to come in either. So they fired Lalonde, and it didn't really fix anything, did it? So was it Lalonde? Was it the team? Is the want not there? Certainly looks like that could be what's happening in Detroit. So I don't even think that that's a knock against Lalonde's coaching ability. And we've seen before, this Montreal team, these players, they're already creating a winning atmosphere. And he's not going to be a head coach. He's going to be an assistant coach. That's different. Sometimes you're simply better for a role like that, focusing on the systems, player development, preparation, rather than carrying every responsibility that comes with being the face of an NHL bench, especially in Montreal. Others have remarked on this. This isn't an original thought, but it's worth mentioning that after getting let go, he didn't just sit around like waiting for the phone to ring. He got busy trying to find a job. He became an assistant coach in Toronto. And say what you will about the year that he coached in Toronto, he managed to make that turd of a defense float. He managed to get them to 81.2% penalty kill. And his stint in Toronto was considered, a success, as much as you can call that season a success for the Maple Leafs. Either way, he got fired. He didn't sit around waiting for the phone. He went out, got busy, continued doing the thing that he loved, and now he's in Montreal, the best market in the NHL. I think he's going to take this like it's a big challenge. So if he has the personality that I think he does, I think he's going to do great. So where do I land on this hire? I'm cautiously optimistic. Still feel like Trevor Letowski was probably a pretty important part of the team. And it sounds like the Canadiens wanted him to stay on, and they might keep him on in some sort of role. This wasn't a performance thing. Letowski chose to leave on his own will. But if you're going to replace Letowski, I think Lalonde is about as qualified as you could realistically hope for. He's coached at every level. I think he's won at every level. He's certainly won the Stanley Cup. And in that, he brings experience that isn't really there behind the bench in a coaching role. So I think this could age really well. It could age not so well, but I think it could age really well. And maybe in a year, we're going to say, wow, what a great decision, again, by the Montreal front office. But I want to know your thoughts about this. Are you worried that the team might miss the personality of Trevor Letowski behind the bench? Do you think it's just one of those things where time heals all wounds? And although Lalonde might not be a replacement in the locker room like Letowski was, maybe his experience and maybe his relationship with Martin St. Louis will spark good ideas, processes, and plans to move into the right direction. I want to know what you think. Tell me down in the comments. But for now, I'm going to call it a night. You guys know what to do. Like the video. Helps me out with, probably a YouTube algorithm type thing. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you. And as always, I will see you down in the comments.
So Fisher, his back leg is still there. Now,